first, we thought it was some wild animal, hunting and devouring our people. But each sighting further confirmed our greatest fear. It has a taste for our blood now. It hunts us. What kind of dwarf would trade a battle axe for a tailor's thread? The Grawlgore I would speak with is the warrior, the adventurer, the monster hunter. And I would speak with him now.
In Grawlgore Shanks, we blend the epic fantasy of Lord of the Rings with the mystery and clever twists of Knives Out or Sherlock Holmes. This new series follows a dwarf named Von Grawlgore and his grumpy orc companion Grawlgore Shanks as they unravel crimes and confront classist systems in a rich, high fantasy world.
They're not just detectives. They embody the spirit of friendship and teamwork in a land completely ruled by chaos.
I've been friends with artist Joe Mulvey for over a decade, and I'm thrilled to finally be working on a project like this with him.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be working with John Lees on this series. He's my Scottish brother from another mother, and I also can't wait for all of you to be able to check out Grawlgore Shanks and come along on this adventure with us. Expect action, humor, and heart with the occasional grisly murder.
Grawlgore Shanks is a double-sized, 64-page, standard American-sized comic book containing 2 feature-length Grawlgore and Shanks mysteries. This campaign includes a number of covers to choose from, drawn by Joel Mulvey, as well as limited edition variants, including a blank artist edition sketch cover, a gold foil stamped cover, a C.P. Wilson plush-style variant, and an Adam Cahoon wraparound virgin variant, as well as lenticular covers, metal covers, and more. Throughout the campaign, you'll also have a chance to snag some original art by Joe Mulvey and can be drawn into the series in a cameo role. Since 2012, ComixTribe has funded more than 39 successful Kickstarter campaigns, so you can back with confidence when you select one of our amazing rewards because this team always delivers.
Your support on Kickstarter will help us bring Grawlgore Shanks to life by helping us fund a large print run, make cool collectibles, and bring this book into the world.
We really can't wait to take you on this thrilling ride. It's going to be filled with action, fantasy, adventure, and mystery. So don't miss it.
What are you waiting for? Hop on the wagon and back Grawlgore Shanks Book 1 on Kickstarter today. Hi, it's your pal John Lees. Do you like orcs? Look, I rolled a nat 20 persuasion. That means you have to buy it.
Have fun trying to not see the... It's like a laser pointer. Where is it? Where's it going? It looks like I have a monocle. Oh, that's what I should have got for this video, a monocle.
This new series follows a dwarf named Von Grawlgore and his grumpy... I fucked up already. Right, I'll try that again. Right, start off. Take 2.
What's up, gentlemen? Welcome.
Congrats on another mastiff we put together promo video, Tyler.
I have so much fun with those outtakes. It's
I just think it's a great exercise in, like, you know, the distance of like the speaker from the microphone, because you have like Joe and is very soft spoken, like, you know, hi, I'm Joe. I just wanted.
Yeah, that's me, soft spoken.
You're coming.
Nailed it.
The
What I want
funniest
to know
thing.
is why are we wasting our time with comics? Let's just take this act on the road. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Live.
what's up, gentlemen? Thanks for making the time. We got cross-Atlantic connection here for the first of what will hopefully be many delightful creator live streams focused on your new series, Grawlgore Shanks.
Yeah.
I want to just set a little context for what we're going to do here. We're going to be together for about an hour today. You get to meet and hang out with the creators of Grawlgore Shanks. We're going to send a thank you to our 250 plus backers who've already helped fund this book and started to unlock some stretch goals. We're going to answer a few backer submitted questions. If you're hanging out and watching live, guess what? You can ask some questions too. Feel free to shout yourself out. We got the Mad Respect in the house saying good afternoon. We have Travis Gibb in the house, and who's happy to learn that Scotland has internet. Throwing shade.
I literally just got like some next gen Wi-Fi like installed in my house today. So welcome to the future.
You got John Lee's in 4K right now. So excited to have that. We'll give out a few prizes while we're here, and we want to also encourage anybody that hasn't supported the book yet or checked it out. Be sure to check it out over on Kickstarter. You can just search for Grawlgore and Shanks, which is easy to type in, of course, but or just go to
my like search engine improved titles I come up with.
Yeah, nobody had that one. But just go to ComixTribe.com/GS for that, and we'll be able to get you hooked up and on board this exciting new series launch. I'm Tyler James. I'm the publisher of ComixTribe and the host of the Comics Launch podcast, and just been working with these gentlemen for over a decade now. Crazy.
Now we don't have to get into that. We could just say working together for a while. We don't got to put time on it.
We don't have to
put all those pictures in the promo videos. Like, look at us so young and full of hope before comics got to us.
Yeah. Yep. It's absolutely true. It's fun look like, because that's another thing I do when I put these Kickstarter videos. I look back at some of the past videos and everything. It's like, oh, we a little gray in the beard here, but what to do?
Can I tell you something? I think I have. I'm sure I don't look the same, but I have mental Dorian Gray. Whereas no matter what, when I look at myself, I'm like, yeah, that looks exactly the same as I was when I was 28 or what. Like, I have no scope of it.
Potentially hotter.
Yeah. You know, I got a zaddy vibe going, but it is what it is.
We got John Lees here. He's the writer of Sync Hotel, The Nasty, the new Orla from Mad Cave. Excited about that one. Crimson Cage, and then Emily's Gone Mountain. John has quite the shelf of work that he's put out over the past 15 years or so. Award-winning comic book writer. Good to have you here, John.
Always love these chats.
What's that?
I'm glad to be here. I always love these chats.
Even Tyler has to double take sometimes with that accent. Even Tyler's like, "Oh, what's that now?" He can blame it on his age. Tyler can be like, I'm getting hard of hearing.
It's like, when you have to get regular boosters if you're like Jags, like
we should have a ComixTribe After Dark where we could tell all the things we've done, because I'll tell you right now, nothing is better than John when he is vehemently angry and upset, because he actually goes up an octave to where it's like screeching, and it's hysterical. And I've caused him to get such. There's
been times when I've been at convention floor with, like, this was back in the days when we used to get like the burner phones out of Radio Shack, to the top. And like, so I'd have American friends at the convention floor, and I'd be trying to frenziedly like arrange a meeting point, and they're like, I can understand you. Use your English voice. So I'm like I'm really angry, and I'm like, well, could we please meet at Hall H? My face is like.
It's funny because
I've said it many times. When Grant Morrison had to ask you what you were saying, that was the most Scottish thing of all time.
Yeah. The fun thing is, like, when we would do conventions on day one, it's sort of like, all right, what's John saying? By the end of it, I'm cursing people out in Scottish.
Yeah.
I've got a brogue going. I can't. But it's good to have here. And the other thing that I like that John can always rely on if nobody's understanding you can just do your Joe Mulvey impersonation.
Joe Mulvey, how you doing? Bye, scam. Bada bing, bada boom. Not gonna lie to you.
Good. It's good.
It's a classic. We also have Joe Mulvey here. What's up, Joe? Joe is the artist of Wailing Blade. He's also been doing some cool issues of Thundercats, Terminator. He is a writer himself, known for
Terminator
Happy
9
Hill.
coming out next week. Terminator 9 is coming out next week, so go get
Terminator 9. Yep. Declan Shalvey script on that one.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And so we got Joe Mulvey here. Most dangerous man in comics. Still at it and still kicking butt. But excited to hang with you boys. Again, Grawlgore and Shanks, 5 days left. Creeping up on that on the next stretch goal, which is at 9K. Just went over 250 backers. So definitely.
Can you remind us what the 9K stretch goal is?
9K stretch goal is t-shirts.
Yeah.
We're gonna unlock some t-shirts. So got that one coming for folks. But again, just if you haven't checked it out, 64-page full color comic. It's got 2 complete feature length 24-page stories. We'll include some bonuses in there as well. ComixTribe first printing. We've got some great exclusive variants. John, anything else people need to know about Grawlgore and Shanks before they run over to Kickstarter and back the thing?
Well, I guess to give the kind of elevator pitch, Grawlgore and Shanks is a genre blend of high fantasy and procedural mystery. I've been saying it's like Lord of the Rings meets Nice Out, you know, or a D&D campaign which is DM'd by Shane Black, you know, like it's like this pair, dwarf tailor called Von Grawlgore and his surly orc steward called Arlog Shanks, and they travel from town to town and village to village in this mythical realm of Plana in search of business. And usually, quite by accident and against their will, they end up caught up in some type of mystery or crime that they then have to solve, like a pair of prototypical private detectives. And it very much steers away from the kind of broad, sweeping, overarching, large-scale narrative that's normally associated with fantasy to go for a very kind of episodic structure. It's almost anthology style. Like it's like watching like an episode of Columbo where like each chapter introduces like a mystery that's resolved by the end of the episode, but it's also got like goblins and dragons and everything else in it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to work on. Like I said, developing this for a while. I've been working on this series for years. Like I've got like 8 issues in the can written, so I really feel like I've developed this world out. And like Grawlgore and Shanks are 2 of my favorite characters that I've ever written. They feel like alive in my head, so getting to see Joe drawing them and bring them to life makes it even better. And yeah, it's a series that I'm really proud of. It's a little bit different from my usual kind of like horror type stuff, but I think if you've enjoyed the stuff that I've done before, and if you've enjoyed the amazing artwork that Joe's put on his books as well, I think you'll enjoy this pairing and you'll enjoy this book, so worth giving it a shot.
Yeah. And Joe, you know, you are someone that you've got a lot of projects that you've worked on over the years. You've got your own ideas, you've got your own things. John's been spending a lot of time like building out this world and diving in. But what was it about like this pitch, this hook? Because, you know, before you go even to pitch publishers or Kickstarter backers, anything, a writer always has to pitch an artist and be like, hey, yeah, this is going to be worth this is going to be worth your time and carpal tunnel working at the table. So what was it about this that appealed to you, and what are some things that you think you've been able to bring to it?
I have to watch what I could say legally right now so that I don't get in the entire real reason how this started. No, John and I had done another book for another publisher that shall not be named. And unfortunately that publisher had problems, so the book never came out.
You have a shot.
But yes, but John and I really liked working together, and we've known each other, like we said, for years and years and years. Genuinely, I think John is one of the better writers in all of comics, and you know, the ability to do that is like, it's only going to make me better to work with someone who is better. Are you guys still there? What happened?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. So
the audience demand we pull in a tight one shot on Joe.
No, that's completely fine. I get it. You know, I look good today. I'm matching the black with the black.
We're just stamping the style. So
yeah, and I might be working on some Grawlgore Shanks right here, but I can't show you just yet. But yeah, no. So John just he sent me the script, and same thing that John just said. I really liked the really good combination of mystery, fantasy, and like this buddy comedy. It's like it very much feels like Lethal Weapon, you know, meets like that old, what was it, like Xena Warrior Princess? Like that's what it kind of feels like to me, you know. But that's probably a super dated comparison that no one will know. So we go with Knives Out meets Lord of the Rings.
Well, my favorite thing is obscure, like functionally useless elevator pitch comparisons.
Well, listen, then for this we can nail it. We could definitely nail it. But no, I think it's a lot of fun. I didn't think I was ever going to be a fantasy artist, and then things like Wailing Blade came along, things like Thundercats, things like whatever, and you're like, oh, maybe I can stretch that muscle, and it's been awesome. John's the best.
Yeah. We got some people tuning in. The Mad Respect says, yeah, this one must feel extra sweet after that previous publisher. You know, it was probably shocking that you guys had to abandon that project, but afterwards you were able to jump on Grawlgore and Shanks, and I'm excited to be a part of it as well.
I'm just glad that this wasn't our last ride, that we're able to do something.
Yes.
So we're going to dive into some questions. I want to shout out some other folks that are here. We got Cuban B47 is in time. He's clocking out for lunch and watching us. We got Chris Parton in the house, longtime ComixTribe fan. Patrick Lugo, also another great creator, tuning in. And it's exciting to be here. I did want to give one quick shout out, something that dropped last night that folks can check out, that I'm, at least a little bit excited about, is just a little, fun side project called ComixTribe Audio, where I want, over the years, in addition to the great comics and things that we've been putting out, we've been writing. John's been writing. I've written a few. We've had other talented writers sort of chime in and write these little prose pieces, short stories in various ComixTribe universes. And as it sort of went along, I'm realizing, oh, wow, like these things are stacking up pretty good. I've also been reading, or my son has been listening to a lot of, like, on Spotify, just bedtime stories that have a little bit of extra production value. They're scored, they have some sound effects. He's even like sent in and contributed like some of his voice to some of these that he likes listening to. And so the idea got into me. It'd be fun to turn some of these stories that have been written over the years into little short 15 to 25 minute audio dramas. And so that's what ComixTribe Audio is. We're going to do a season 1 that's about 5 episodes long, and we're going to touch on a bunch of the different ComixTribe universes. And so there's actually 2 episodes that you can listen to right now. One is from the Oxymoron and the Red 10 universe called Fanboy Justice, that I wrote. And then the other one is a Grawlgore and Shanks adventure called The Turquoise Tunic, which both of those are available now. And hope you like them. And we've already gotten a little bit of feedback from them. I got our first comment from Winston Pasquale, who said, beautiful storytelling. John Lee's story crafting here is grand. And pregnant with possibilities. Happy to back Grawlgore and Shanks. And he said, this audio drama is the first ever ComixTribe story I've ever, air quotes, read. And he's new to backing crowdfunding projects. And just excited about the world and just this brought them in. So it's cool to, just see that someone is jumping in via this. And since we're talking about prizes as a Grawlgore and Shanks backer and the first commenter on a ComixTribe audio tale, Winston's getting a $20 upgrade. We're going to hook him up with some credit redeemable in backer kit, so he can add some add-ons to his pledge, or put it towards whatever he likes. Thanks, Winston, and happy to just reward some folks over there.
I just want to say as well, that's a really cool project, Tyler, that you've set up, because I've always enjoyed your voiceovers in our various videos. So clearly you've got a talent for some audio type stuff. So it's interesting to apply it in different direction. Yeah, I mean,
having been reading and telling stories to my son at bedtime. I've been doing a lot of voices, so I figured I might as well just try to parlay that into something else here. But also, it just lets us shine a little bit of light on the worlds of ComixTribe. Hopefully, we'll ignite the backlist a little bit and get more people just checking out books that they haven't discovered yet. We also have another longtime ComixTriber in the house. Hey, Caesar says, greetings to John, Joe, and Tyler. Congrats on another successful campaign. Big shout out to Caesar. He's doing well in Florida, hanging out there. He's putting out a ton of art that on his Instagram feed, and he's also been doing a lot of writing, and he wrote just recently released I think his first novella. So definitely check out Caesar's stuff. All right, let's see what we got for a Q&A here. And again, if you're tuning in live, please, or if you're watching the replay, but definitely submit questions, ask away. Let's participate. But yeah, feel free to hit us up with some questions while you are here. First question came up from Wilfried. He said it's going to be in the middle of the night, but he'll watch the recording.
Told you
And
that.
said, how do you decide or choose to create your main characters? And then how does it go from head to the drawing? So I guess the first one, we'll start over at John. I'm curious, what came first? Was it the high concept of I want to tell a genre story, like a mystery stories in the medieval world, or did you start with characters first on this one?
I mean, it varies from project to project. For this particular project, the characters definitely came first. I thought up Vaughn and Arlog, and we're pretty much like fully formed right away in my head, like, or mostly fully formed in a lot of ways. I knew what their personalities were going to be. I knew like how they were going to play off of each other. I kind of had the sense of like their voices and stuff like this. But I just didn't have a story around them. And I spent the longest time, like, because I had this idea of them being a pair of like investigators, and I know like Joe mentioned Lethal Weapon, but I was very much thinking of that kind of like Shane Black style, kind of like odd couple pairing like you got in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and the Nice Guys, like, you know, the kind of like buddy cop dynamic, but not cops. They're like, you know, a tailor and his employee. But I didn't have a larger story for them. I kept on agonizing over what's the mystery going to be, what's this 5-issue miniseries going to be that I'm going to put these characters in, and I couldn't find something that was the right fit for them. And then I had this idea of, well, why do I have to kind of put these characters in this big, you know, involved world with a big, massive, like, overwhelming lore, which could be a bit off-putting? Why not just kind of like throw them in different adventures and let the characters take center stage? So once I had that idea, then I thought, okay, let's go character first and do lots of like self-contained smaller mysteries around them. And the story can change each time, but the characters can remain consistent throughout. And that opened up everything for me in terms of like, oh, well, great, now I know what I'm doing, and I can kind of like do some soap opera type stuff, and I can develop kind of like personal arcs over the course of the series, but the stories can kind of be really self-contained and one and done. And also, what I always find the most overwhelming or daunting part of writing fantasy, which is trying to build the world, rather than having to front load that all up, you know, like ahead of time. I kind of feel the world building in this is kind of unobtrusive, where it's kind of like it just kind of like you have little like seeds that I'll throw in like a line of dialogue in issue 1, and I'll go, oh, I'll develop that a little bit more in issue 2, and almost becomes a kind of like patchwork, gradually expanding the world. Let's say the characters like are all very much at the fore, and it's quite fun having like guest characters like slipping in and out of the series and how they interact with the main characters. And something else that I actually did is that I've been getting back into playing D&D with my friends, and I actually like played for a little while. Up in one campaign, I played as Grawlgore to try and get a sense of his voice, and like the whole thing when he goes like my very, very good friend, that was like kind of like a wee riff off of like someone I know in Scotland always does that kind of like name dropping thing, like, oh, my very, very good friend Sean. You know, like, and then like with Shanks, like when I was playing as him, I did another campaign. The campaign I'm currently playing with my friends, I'm playing as Shanks, and again that kind of like helped me define his voice a little bit, because I kind of feel that I wrote Shanks as this kind of like surly, grumpy, angry, kind of like, you know, originally, but then the more I started voicing him myself or playing as him myself, the more I kind of got this kind of awkward energy from him. He's quite kind of introverted, he's quite kind of like, you know, soft spoken, and that kind of weaved into the character a little bit, as well as this kind of like biting cynicism. And I think of him as being like, again, because like both these characters like Scottish in my head, you know, when I'm writing them. I imagine him as being a kind of like a kind of Orcadian or someone from the Highlands, like kind of like big low register, and that kind of like that doer quality kind of conveyed into his voice. And yeah, once I had their voices in my head, they came alive even more, I think.
Yeah, I think there's something really good there for writers out there, is that if the thing is that's getting you tripped up is like the plot, or having to have like the story all figured out, or it has to be bigger and bigger and bigger, is like, actually, no, if you have characters that you absolutely love, maybe it's not meant to like you don't have to have this one epic, you know, massive miniseries, but it's just like, hey, spend time with these characters in different situations and tell different kinds of stories. And so
maybe not everything's going to be an anthology or whatever, but I would say, and I've said this before, generally speaking, I feel that it's a less major problem to have like your characters worked out and you don't know what the story is yet than having like a plot like figured out every single beat, but you don't have interesting characters at the heart of them. Like that's a much worse problem than like, you know, I think the characters are ultimately what's most important. So if you've got them, then you're much closer to having that story.
Well, everyone's different, but don't you guys think you got to lead with character? Because if you don't care about the character, you don't. You can make it the most exciting, environment, but it's not going to matter.
Yeah, no,
Like
exactly.
if you're really not vested, like
characters king.
Like I don't think I'm giving anything away here, but John has built himself in a pretty much an equation for how these mysteries kick off, and it's genius because Von Grawlgore is a tailor. If he's a good tailor, we're gonna see. That might be completely up to the reader, but it's definitely he's not boring. He's not a boring tailor. He's a very interesting tailor. And the way we get brought into every single story is tremendous. It feels like an episodic show that you could watch the third episode and still be completely in on the series. You could, and that's the way the issues are. You could pick up any one of them and be like, okay, I know exactly what this is from jump.
Yeah.
To John's credit.
And like, I've had the opportunity to obviously read ahead. I've read all four of the the first 4 issue scripts, as well as a bunch of the Grawlgore and Shanks prose stories that John has read to really flesh these out. And what I love about these characters is that, and kind of what you're doing with this series is that like, there's like 3 levels, how the world sees these characters, how the characters truly, like what the characters truly are, and then what the characters want to be. And that they're not necessary. And for both Grawlgore and Shanks, they're not necessarily like they're 3 different things, and trying to figure out how that all works together. So it makes for a very rich tapestry. And yet, because it's sort of like mystery of the issue, you can drop them into different environments, and they get to play off the sort of supporting cast of characters in each one. Joe, like just
your pairing, the having this as a double issue like works really well in this context too, because it's almost like a showcase of like what the series can be, because the 2 stories couldn't be more different. Like the first one is so grisly, it's maybe the most violent one of the first run. Like, it's full of murder and like, gore and like disembowelings, and the second one is just so broad and stupid and like, really like silly. And it's like the fact that like they both work and they both exist in the same world because the characters are the kind of connective tissue. I think it's a great kind of pairing to go with to begin with.
The bar name in the second issue is tremendous. It's tremendous. I'm not even going to give it away, but it's definitely descriptive. I'll say that.
Joe, how did you tackle tackle the character design on this one? Because obviously, John fleshed these guys out pretty well in writing, but it's kind of up to you to put them together. And what were some of the influences, and how do you just go about like, all right, taking an idea in John's head and turning it into something that he's going to give you 2 thumbs up for?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little insight behind this. Number one, if you guys see me turning away, it's just because I'm inking down on the page, so I'm not ignoring you or forgetting. So number one is when John came to me and gave me the story, I like characters and I like drawing with shapes in mind. And when you can have such different juxtaposed silhouettes, like a huge ogre and then a rotund dwarf next to them, it's just super fun thinking in terms of shapes. Shanks, super wide, pimply, hairy, pointy ears. We can have some fun with fur on his fur and then like the tufts on his forearms. So much fun to design that. And then when you go to Grawlgore is the epitome of class, etiquette, fashion, well designed, but while being like pretty much, like a bowling ball with legs. He's just a very big, rotund guy that like genuinely, from the way I get the character, loves life. Like he loves life, and when he sees things going wrong, he dives in to make the save and try to do what he can to help other people enjoy their lives as much as he does his. But I genuinely have enjoyed drawing dwarf characters for like if you guys are familiar with Alpha Flight.
Yep.
Like maybe
Fuck.
like a year or two ago, I was trying to pitch Jed McKay, who's the X-Men writer right now. On you see every couple of years Marvel's next big thing, and it's like, whatever it is, like whatever the I said, Jed, let's make something called Marvel's next little thing, and it's me and you doing a puck miniseries. That would be awesome. So still waiting on that contract, but so I've always enjoyed like I think that's the fun of like certain definitely superhero comics when you have like Colossus throw Wolverine, right? It's the huge big tank guy throwing the little other guy, and I just think the visual of it set in this like kind of our type of medieval fantasy world is just like there's no time where I'm ever bored drawing a page because I can pretty much do whatever I want as long as it fits in the wheelhouse of their world.
Good stuff. We got a question from El Guapo. He said, John, this book's a little different than your usual writing. Did you have to do a reset mentally to work on this series? And I guess, is that something that like, because you do have distinct worlds, like, is there a switch you have to flip to jump from Orla to Grawlgore and Shanks to sync back to something else?
Actually, weirdly enough, like not so much as you think, because like, yeah, I'm doing like some quite difficult. This is like a fantasy story, and you've got like Sync, which is very much gritty horror and crime, and then you have like Orla, which is this kind of effervescent rom-com with monsters. But like whatever the story, I always come at it from the same starting point of like, who are the characters we care about in this story? Why should we care about them? What's the kind of like conflict we're putting them through to make their life harder? How are they going to get out of it? So ultimately, whatever genre you're working on, you're ultimately like dealing with the same problems and kind of like, attacking it the same way. It's just like, slightly different tones each time. But yeah, I think ultimately, I feel whatever genre you're working in, like if whether it be a horror story or a comedy story or a fantasy story or an action story, if the best ones ultimately still come from the same place of, like we were saying earlier, being driven by character and being driven by like the emotion and then trying to invest the reader in that character. So I would say it's not quite as stark a difference as you might think.
Cool.
Or maybe John's just mentally out there. You know what I mean? Maybe maybe he's built a little different. Maybe he's just got some issues that he's working through. That's it.
So I got a question for sort of a topic here, and y'all can play along in the chat as well. But here's the question: who is on? And this will Joe and John. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of fictional detectives? So
great question. It's a great question.
4 slots. Who comes to mind? Like there's the ultimate crime. And you had 4 guys that you had to pull together to solve this thing. What would your dream team? What would your Mount Rushmore
we got 4
be?
4 slots, right?
Yeah.
We gotta go.
We have to collaborate.
So yeah, maybe we'll collaborate. So you each get 2.
Oh damn it! I've had 4 lined up.
I've always said, like, I think Sherlock to me is like, yes, he's a genius. He's this, he's that. But I feel like Sherlock, all right, I mean, he's a gimme, right? Sherlock Holmes, the detective. So, I mean, I'm going to go, no, you know what? I'm backing it up. I'm going with Poirot. Hercule Poirot.
Yeah. Obviously, maybe
and if we're thinking if we're thinking like the Mount Rushmore, I feel like a strong mustache would be a good feature to actually have up on a mountain. So that might edge it out.
It's going to stand out visibly. Yes.
Maybe a basic answer, but obviously you can't go like without the detective, like the detective comics, Batman.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
The mad respect in the chat had Batman first and foremost. Okay, so we got Poirot, we've got Hercule Poirot, we've got Bruce Wayne.
I'm gonna take Sherlock. You got to get Sherlock Holmes. Got to be in there. It's got to be in there. I
mean his name, like His name is a condescending thing you use when someone states the obvious or figures
It's
it
so
out.
funny you say that because my kids have started saying it. Because I was like, "Oh, it's hot out today." I'm like, "Really? In the summer? Thanks, Sherlock." Gonna write that one down in the notebook, you know. So yes.
I'm
Is he getting
torn.
reference? Is John? This is a
yeah.
no reference comment. This is off the top of your head. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say like I'm torn because like I would like my first instinct for the next choice would be to be Benoit Blanc because like I really love both Knives Out and Glass Onion, but I kind of want to give a shout out to an underappreciated detective, one of the great underappreciated detectives in fiction. Kind of like in terms of like comic book inspirations for Grawlgore and Shanks, the North Star for me, the biggest inspiration for this series, both in terms of like the tone, the format of it being episodic mystery, and like the kind of like characters, is this book, Master Keaton, which is about
Never seen it.
It is by Naoki Urasawa and a couple of other creators, Takashi Nagasaki, Hokusuke Katsu, I can't even say Katsushika. And this was one of Urasawa's first big books. And it's about this guy who yearns to be an archaeologist, but while he tries to get that career off the ground, he kind of moonlights as an insurance investigator. And he gets sent off in various like things to try and investigate various insurance stories, but then gets like caught up in these various different crimes, and his like distant past and was a member of the British SAS, Special Forces, keeps on coming up in various like interesting ways as he always gets caught in these various murder mysteries or like robberies, and like it's such a fun series. And again, it's that idea of like it being episodic, and like he's such a great character. Henry has a combination of being like Columbo, who's another one I could have mentioned. Columbo, he's great. Has that kind of like Columbo quality of being kind of like unassuming, but like he'll, get to the bottom of the crime. He has the kind of Sherlock thing of being super smart and analytical. He also has the MacGyver thing of like, all being able to put together like elaborate like tools and kind of props to get himself out of a situation. It's kind of like, this ultimate amalgamation of all these different ones. So as much as I'd like to give a special shout out to my boy Columbo, I'm going to make my controversial, obscure pick, Master Keaton.
All right, I got to pick this up now. And by the way, I think Benoit Blanc is not eligible. He's got 2 movies under his belt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not, you need a body of work.
Neil,
Yeah,
as I say, like it was close, but I would go for.
So the Mad Respect has he had a pretty respectable list. He had Batman, Reacher, Benoit Blanc, and Alex Cross. So I mean, if you like Alex Cross, somebody that would
they carved other 4 into.
Sorry, what was that?
Is Reacher? I guess he's an investigator, right? Yeah, Reacher's an investigator. I've never read the books. I just watched the show, and boy, the show is way different than those movies, huh?
Yeah. How many Tom Cruises do you think the actor that plays Reacher, like how many Tom Cruises, like whole Tom Cruises, could you fit into the body of the guy who plays Reacher?
I mean, like my controversial take is, I think that like the Alex Cross movies like are perfectly fine movies. Like Tom Cruise like plays a decent part, but once you've seen the TV series and you go, oh, that's Reacher, like there's no comparison.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Cross, I watched the show on Amazon. Like that's like when I'm on the treadmill, I just put on a show or whatever. Like that's, and it was tremendous. It was way better than the movies, but it was, I've also never read the book, so I don't know. Yeah. I think it's a little bit more
I have read about 8 Reacher books over the years. The kind of book that you pick up like when you're going on a holiday or going on a plane journey. I have read them. I've enjoyed them. I've like went through them quickly and thought that was a really fun book. Then immediately forgotten about them as soon as I finished. That's the kind of like level of writing.
But I mean, between those Reacher books and then the James Patterson, Alex Cross books, man, you're talking about probably like a billion paperbacks sold.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it like they definitely solved the Benoit Blanc problem of only two movies under his belt. Those guys.
One of like my new, this is like a top secret comics pitch I'm going to share with you all. This is me just developed this right now. It's like it's a take on Training Day. but it's like a new author who is brought in to co-write the next James Patterson paperback over the course of a day with him, and he has to go through his crazy life. And at the end of it, they've somehow managed to get a 400-page New York Times bestseller out of it.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing though. Like, I feel like you could take any AI right now, ingest all of the Alex Cross books that are in the library, and James Patterson could basically like have his AI crank out three Cross books a year for the rest of eternity.
Cross book, if you had to feed it into an AI, but like that sketch and like, you know, the Treehouse of Horror when like Homer's getting fed with the donuts is like but too much information.
Yeah, seriously. El Guapo threw in The Question and Rorschach as notable comic PIs.
Okay. Again, El Guapo, 12 issues. I mean, I know Rorschach's been in a few other things. I need a body of work. You know what I mean? I know some people of a certain age would say Angela Fletcher, and I'll tell you right now, I can't do it. Can't do it because you know why? I need my detective to be brainy, but also able to whoop a little butt when the time comes. You know what I mean? Like Reacher, I wasn't going to say he's more of like a, you know, a bull in a china shop type idea, but all right, I get it. He's an investigator. But yeah, Renee Montoya too as the Question. That's like the best of both worlds because you have a female lead detective and you have, you know, the superpowers. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm rambling.
Yeah, no, good options. Yeah, let us know if we're forgetting any obvious ones, but I feel like we nailed that one. Let's see what else we want to do here. That Respect says at least Patterson still fully writes the Cross books. Everything else uses ghostwriters. Yeah, that's still his baby.
Doesn't the guy who writes the Reacher books, isn't he like handing it over to his kid or something?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but I
shout out to
said
my buddy Clay Adams, who highly recommends that the writer of the Reacher books, I guess, has like a book on like writing and the writing craft that he actually says is really good. But also like being working writers, cranking them out, mass markets and stuff. But it's just like a really actually an entertaining book on the guy that writes the Reacher books. So definitely check that out.
Lee Child, right?
Yeah, Child. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, one thing that I'll point out in case folks missed it on the Kickstarter is that we've got a cool deal. I added because you guys, you know, again, John's The Standard and Joe's Scam joined Caesar and my The Red 10 as sort of the initial wave of ComixTribe books that helped launch ComixTribe in 2011. And yeah, so you guys have been with us for the very beginning. And so we put together a couple of digital bundles, and you can actually get the entire body of Lee's and Mulvey work, which in the digital form, the back matter, it's like over 1,300 pages of PDFs that you can grab for a really great deal over on the Kickstarter. It's an add-on. And Ted, who's a super backer, has backed us before, just says, "You convinced me to get the full digital package. It was absolutely the photo of the hug. LOL." So
yes, if you ever come see us and we're at a show together, there's not a time where John and I are not hysterical laughing about something.
Yeah, definitely gets a little giddy down the line.
No, yeah, no, like 3 days in, you're running on fumes and just started cracking up.
Another question from Winston said, got me in wanting to post fan art of these stories. Any particular media platforms you can recommend for ComixTribe fan art posting? Wish there was a way backers could post fan art on the Kickstarter campaign projects comments area. It's not so much of an ask, just wishful thinking. Actually, that is a cool thing. I never really thought of it but that would be a cool thing if Kickstarter could support like just the ability to upload fan art to the community section, I think. But in terms of fan art, yeah, like we love fan art. You can always use @ComixTribe, or you can, I'm sure, @Joe or @John.
I'm not on Twitter anymore, but I'm on Blue Sky. So if you go to johnlees.bsky.social, if you tag me or @me on like any fan art you share, I will gladly share it because I love seeing fan art of the stories we've worked on.
Yeah, we love it. And I have a creator that sent some fan art over recently, and now he's working on a cover for an upcoming ComixTribe variant. So you never know, but we love to see that kind of stuff, and I'm sure we would love to see some Grawlgore and Shanks fan art if you like drawing orcs or what have you. We'd love to see it. I've had a question come in the chat. Not sure if you can speak to this, John, but it's just we'll shout out some of the other. Where to go? Just any updates on the hotel option that you know of. And sorry if it's off topic. It's all right, man. We want to celebrate John's work, but I don't know if you have any if there's any updates or anything that you can say.
AWA snipers like behind my head. I think I'm safe. No, as far as I tell, like it's still proceeding onwards. Like, if you thought like comics move slow, like film stuff moves like really slow. But like when I last had a conversation with them, all seem to be moving in positive directions. They are still kind of like moving towards like, I've been able to check out like the script, which is great. And like they're kind of starting to move forward into like, the process of going into production, like, the all the kind of preliminary stuff that goes into that. So as far as I can tell, it is all still moving forward. I don't know when it's actually going to happen, but every indication seems to be that it is kind of still going ahead and still moving in the right direction. So I'm just hoping to give me an invite to the set when they start filming. If they do that, I'm happy. But yeah, no, like as far as I can tell, it also seems to be going well. So
John, if I can ask the question, is it going to move along faster if you stop saying you have to be the lead star?
Yeah, like, I just wanted to be like, obviously they have like the Piero Course Hotel has like the big like, clown picture. I said it's like a tasteful nude of me instead that keeps on changing position in the background, in the
well, I think the fact that I've seen the emails you send back to all the film people, I think number one, talking about yourself in the third person as Scottish sexy might be the thing holding it up, but I don't know. I'm not a Hollywood
it's like
type.
the John Lee's in every message. Just,
yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's a little bit of fame and a little bit of power. Just drives me mad.
Right to the head. Right to the head.
Straight to it. But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's exciting stuff to see these worlds just take off and find a life of their own. And we're excited to see more of that. And like, is there any chance of any more hotel coming the third volume, John, or is that something on the?
I know, like I've developed ideas for it. Like I've written out like a kind of like rough plan of where the third volume would go. I'm game for it. Dalabor's game for it. Just a case of like AWA wanting to gauge what the fan demand is. If fans want to see more, like, get on socials, tag AWA, let them know. It might be they're maybe waiting until like the movie comes out, like that to get a bit of momentum going. But yeah, no, like the creative team's all still game for it. We're just waiting till we get the cue to go ahead.
Nice. Also had just a nice comment over here from another longtime ComixTribe backer, Christopher Babcock, says, looking forward to this great new world to explore. Another winner for ComixTribe. Thank you, John and Joe.
Thank you, Christopher.
Yeah, thanks for backing it, dude.
Backers are so nice, man. What do we do to deserve that kind of stuff, man?
But, absolutely nothing.
I will say, though, like, I do like, maybe it sounds like, conceited. Like, I love praise. But like, I think like sometimes as comic creators, we can kind of get in this kind of like myopic, kind of like defeatist place of like, oh, my career's not what I want it to be. Oh, I want this to have a bigger audience. So I was hoping I would get featured on like this website article about like cool new comics out this week, or I wanted to get like featured in that year-end list, or I wanted to get like comics in this number of comic book shops, and you start beating yourself up thinking, oh, I'm not doing enough, like, and then all it takes is like, one comment, like, from someone saying, oh, I read your comic and it was great, or like, oh, like, what you wrote or what you drew really resonated with me and spoke to me, like, and that alone can kind of like, turn a whole day, a whole week around, and all those kind of like voices saying like, oh, what you're doing is a waste of time, go away for a little while when you realise that actually like it's having a positive impact. So if you've ever thought about like sharing messages like this and thinking, nah, it's cringe, or nah, it's a bit, send it, because like it's our lifeblood. I love getting these messages. It kind of keeps me going. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the grind can grind anybody down, but stuff like this, just, you know, a nice review, a shout out, a share. I saw there was someone on Twitter was releasing their all-time Kickstarter projects backed top 10, and they had Joe and Rich Stewick's Wailing Blade hardcover in his at number 6 of his all-time project back, and he did like a 4-minute full recount and review of the entire Wailing Blade miniseries. And so, yeah, you know, even projects that have been out for a while, like
there's always new people discovering it. It's like I watched a video not too long ago, and I'm really sorry, I can't even remember the name of the guy who did it. He's like a really great creator, or he does like great YouTube videos, but he did like a review of The Standard, and he was like, this is one of my all-time favorite comics. I was like, what? You know, that's amazing. And then he just literally gave like this kind of like really detailed synopsis of the series, and I've actually got to the point where I was like, wow, I can't remember that happened in The Standard. Like, you know, it's been that long since I've written it. Like, wow, that comic sounds pretty good. Maybe I should read it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so yeah, it's cool. That's
funny thing is, when you actually start reading this, you're like, you start laughing at your old jokes again, and be like,
yeah,
I
was even reading like Sync Volume 4 scripts, going, that was quite good. So yeah, like, you know, like you forget stuff, and like that's the great thing about comics or any creative, I guess, like whether you be like music or film or whatever, like, you know, that your stuff, once you've made it, it's out there waiting to be discovered. Like, you know, someone can find something like 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year down the line, and they can speak to them then. So there's no like one like chance to get connected with the audience. Once you've made the stuff, it exists and it's out in the world.
What are you guys reading now that you like?
Obviously, the replies that are complimentary to both of us. That's what I read. No, it's so funny thinking about that, John. I don't read any reviews except Kickstarter. When people have like the comments to say, just, you know, normally it's almost, and we're not giving Tyler his flowers here. How well ComixTribe runs Kickstarters, works on fulfillment, works on, I mean, making the products, getting it into everyone's hands. Like, Tyler, you do a tremendous job.
Yeah, you're the machine.
But it's really the only time I ever look at like input. Not that I don't care about other people's input, or I'll see something on social media, but as we've gone down over the years, I've had people say some horrific stuff to me, which this is not something I should say for public consumption, but I find hysterical. Like, for some reason, the angrier people get at how I did something, the better. Like, the more it makes me cackle. I don't know, like something's broken in my head. But still to this day, if you're listening, I think it might have even been a Kickstarter comment. So no, it wasn't. But someone said, I wish ComixTribe would have gotten Humberto Ramos to draw this book with his foot rather than Joe Mulvey. And Joe Mulvey sucks, or whatever it is. And I asked Tyler, and he's here. I think we put that on the book jacket as the quote, like on the back of the collection. I thought that was tremendous.
It's all right. Like, if you don't need your reviews, I read all reviews, Joe. So I know, like, you know, yeah, like, so aggressively sexual comes up a lot of times.
Yeah, I get that. It's the neck. It's the neck, you know? I get it.
What was the question? I've totally forgot.
What are we reading right
now?
Yeah. I mean, John, you're always great with the recommendations. Any new stuff or any books that you want to shine a light on?
Every single time I get this question, I suddenly just got a complete blank slate. And like, what am I reading? Do I read comics? Who am I? But
big old bookshelf behind you.
In terms of like new comic choices, I love Batman stuff. Really good right now. Batman Dark Patterns, Batman Robin Year One, Absolute Batman are all bangers.
I literally just picked up Absolute Batman.
Oh, really
like good. Yeah, well, I mean, I got the first couple issues, but now I'm all caught up, and I was like, it's
that kind of plastic stuff you'd like in Dragotas, like on like ham mode. Outside of that, love Absolute Martian Manhunter. Feral's a great kind of horror series about, it's kind of like a kind of zombie plague, but it's a kind of worm's eye perspective from a group of cats and a rabies epidemic, which is really good. Jeff Lemire, the GOAT, his new series, whose name Minor Arcana, about this kind of like psychic who runs a kind of tarot shop. She comes home to her mother's tarot shop and awakens psychic powers. That's really good. I'm trying to think what else. Assorted Crisis events. That's really fun. Oni Press is doing some good stuff right now. I love Out of Alcatraz from Tyler Crooks, the artist, and Christopher Cantwell is the writer. About like the real life kind of like escape, a prisoner escape from Alcatraz, but instead of like them dying at sea, it imagines them like, what happened if they kind of got to land and kind of get involved in a kind of pitch black noir saga. That's great. There's a whole bunch of good stuff out right now. I'm trying to think of things that I totally blanked on once we've ended the call.
Well, I'm gonna blank on the name, but I'm going to tell you, I picked it up. I was like, what a unique comic. It was really, really well done. It's Chris Condon, and it's his new Image book. It's black and white.
Oh, Notes in the Fallout.
Yes, that's it. Notes
Sold
in the
out
Fallout.
at my comic shop. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, really, really good. That's great. I've been really enjoying 8 billion. No, not 8 billion genes. Was
I guess it.
No. That's the book before from Ryan Brown, Charles Soule. The new one's Lucky Devils.
Yeah.
And they had a little
mention
Lucky Devils is outstanding too.
Buried long ago by our pal Alex Cormack and Anthony Cleveland. Great. Maybe one of the favorite things I've read this year. Really like scary, really mean. Fantastic book.
Yeah. And then coming up from you both, John, you've got Orla, which did that release, or is that?
No, it's coming out on the 6th of August. FOC was a week ago, but you can hopefully still pick up your local comic shop. Orla is a rom-com creature feature mashup about Orla Barb, who's a believer in true love, and teaches navigating the Seattle single scene while dealing with loneliness, anxiety, and a habit of turning into a giant man-eating monster. She calls this kind of monstrous alter ego inside her the ick, which comes out whenever she gets too scared or nervous or stressed. And she can't get rid of this affliction, so she decides to use it for the betterment of womankind by removing the scummiest men from the dating pool permanently. Then what happens when she meets someone that she doesn't want to devour? And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Like, it's quite different for me. I'm doing that with Sarah Cantarino, who's an amazing artist I've wanted to work with for ages. We get Deborah Kelly on colours and Lucas Catoni on letters. I think I'm really proud of how this book turned out. Like I say, I think it's going to be a special comic. If you get a chance to check it out, your local comic shop, please do, because I'd love to have this have as big an audience as it can.
Yeah, it's a strong debut. It all the hallmarks that you love with Lee's, a little more nudity than you're used to seeing. Thank you. Some butt, but it's good. It's good stuff. And then Joe, you've got an issue of Terminator coming out. What does Mulvey bring to the Terminator franchise that they've been missing for all these 20+ years? That James Cameron never.
I call him Jimmy. So Jimmy Cams, whatever. You know what I mean? When we go to lunch, it's hard to get together because he lives on the ocean floor.
Yeah, you call him Aquaman, right? Yeah.
That's it. So me and Jimmy Cam are just talking, and what can I bring? No, I could bring absolutely nothing. I've been lucky enough that Declan Shalvey just really, really writes some fun scripts that I get to go ham and draw, and the Terminator is a lot of details to draw. But I'm a small caveat in that series. There's so many other great artists that are all contributing. And then I think I'm solicited. I don't think I'm giving a spoiler here, but I'm solicited to do another issue of Thundercats in the upcoming future too. So I think issue 20 is going to be the next one for that. So that's it.
Yeah, and then we've got the Sync will be returning. We've got the next issue will be a Halloween issue.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm actually quite excited because without getting, I don't think it's going to be too much of a spoiler because the solicit for it's coming out in like a week. But Orla issue 3 is a Halloween issue, and that comes out in October. And we're going to have the Sync Halloween special. So October is going to be like John Lee's Halloween comic month.
As if it wasn't already, John.
Yeah. And Let's see. Cuban B47 says, I'm just a guy who recently got into comics via Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of one of the cool things, that Kickstarter actually is becoming an entry point for people. And I think one of the nice things about Grawlgore and Shanks is that it is a book that like has like crossover appeal to the D&D crowd. The fantasy has got a rich history on something like Kickstarter. And so I'm hoping that we find more people that are just discovering the world of comics, even just on Kickstarter, even if they're not familiar with the sort of ins and outs of the direct market. But
Well, not to drag on and wax too poetic, but if you really think about it, in the world of everything going excessively digital, excessively, less tactile, like a comic book, when you get it in your hands, to me is like now the definition of artisanal entertainment,
Yeah.
right? Like I've been really thinking about that lately. That it's like, yes, you can, pour through, 100 hours of something on a streaming service, but then if you go and look, comics are no different than any other entertainment medium. It's just, pen to paper or pen to tablet. But when you actually get the chance to take a look, like I think it's the reason I don't do things digitally, is because I would get too minute. I do this on my own books. Like when I read Ultimate Batman or News from the Fallout, I open the paper book and I go,
I did that
and
one.
I'm like,
I called
what?
myself doing. I was
Yep.
reading All Star Superman. I was like, what are you doing,
Yep.
John?
Yeah, I'm like, what an idiot. But at the same time, it's like, man, I know that an artist put this all together, really, really worked their butts over it. Like an artist did it. I just don't think comics have ever been better than they are today. And then when you add Kickstarter on top of it, I mean, I don't think I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that I think Kickstarter is the biggest distributor or publisher or whatever you want to say of comics right now. They're getting, people from every walk of life to pick them up.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, so like to Cuban B47 and everyone else, like who is in the same boat. I just want to say, like, thank you. Like, if you're deciding to get into comics now, like it's just really, really appreciated. Like, we need more people like you who are willing to kind of like, give this medium a shot. And you've got a whole world of great stories, past and present, waiting for you. So I'm actually really excited for you, as well as being really grateful for your support. Thank you.
If Cuban 847 is still there, how is it that you got into it? Like what brought you to? Was it an advertisement? Was it a recommendation from a friend or family member? Like, how was it that you just got into it through Kickstarter? I'd be curious.
yeah, that is a good question, because like a lot
Those
of
are the
what we
only
think
kind
about
I
is,
ask, Tyler James. Those are the only kind of questions I ask. Okay.
because barriers to entry are kind of one of the things. Ideally, because we hear a lot, and I know sometimes there's still talk about like Brandon Sanderson or a Todd McFarlane will go launch a Kickstarter, and there's always a little bit of rumbling of that's not what Kickstarter's for, or these bestsellers or millionaires don't need to jump on this platform. But they've done a lot of research and studies and looked at it, and the math is they bring a lot of first time people to the platform, and then they stick around.
I think one of the biggest barriers is having a Kickstarter account. And if like this makes people get a Kickstarter account, they then might want to use other stuff. Like, that's a net positive. Like, for me, I always say this when talking about conventions. Like, I think it's harder to convince someone to go from spending nothing to spending like $4 on a comic than it is to go from spending $4 on a comic to spending like $20 or $25 on like a collected edition. It's like that mental switch of like making a commitment to open their wallet or take out their card is like the bigger leap than like the amount it is. I think it's just trying to kind of change that habit and like convince someone this is something that they should have. Like, and if you can get over that hurdle, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And he does bring up a good point. He talks about how, like, depending upon where the series is, it's nice to be able to jump in on and not have to feel like you've already missed the boat, or you've got to spend a lot of money on a catch up tier. And I think that's one of the things that we've tried to wrestle with a little bit, especially as like John's series Sync gets further along, wanting to make sure that like the fact that this thing has been around for a while isn't a
detriment.
Detriment or an impediment to jumping on board and getting in. And so like one of the things we decided to do was like, let's try to make sure that they can get all caught up with just 3 volumes, even though we're going to be on issue 16. with the next launch. And so that's an easier way to catch up. And then also trying to find unique hooks such that, like, if you're not 100% sure that you want to go all in the series, but hey, this particular issue and story looks cool, let me give it a try. Because honestly, that's how we came into comics, right? Like my first Spider-Man was probably in the mid 200s or 150s or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't like, like it doesn't have to be an issue one. Like how we all get into it was like, what's the latest thing on the shelf? I'll grab that. Oh, that seems interesting. I might want to go back and read the earlier stuff. Like that's how you get in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, that's actually a really good point as regards to like Sync. It's like obviously we've got 3 volumes in the can, and obviously we'd love for you to get the catch up bundle and get volume 1, 2, and 3. But even if you don't do any of that, maybe like they stand on their own. Like if you want to just read like a fun story about a group of kids out trick or treating and kind of like coming across like a creepy serial killer, like you can get that and it'll be its own self-contained story. If you want to read like a giallo murder mystery in a sex dungeon, like it's its own story. Like like so you don't have to have read everything that came before. They can be their own. Obviously, it'll be richer if you read the stuff that came before, but they're also self-contained. So I think that's something that's kind of one of the fun things about Sync and Grawlgore Shanks.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, we're a little past time here, so I'm going to wrap things up. But again, I want to thank you guys for your time. I want to thank all the backers over at Grawlgore and Shanks for getting us. Hey, we're ComixTribe is 40 for 40 in terms of launched Kickstarters getting funded, and it's a pleasure to be able to keep cranking them out for y'all. And we've
always such a relief when they actually get funded. I'm always terrified that I'm one of the person that ruins your perfect streak, Tyler. So it's always once to go over the line.
Well, hey, if it hasn't been Mulveyed, we can't be stopped.
Listen, when your name is also an adjective for bad shit that's going to happen,
Yeah, it's like bad shit happening, but makes for a great story. So, and Joe always you take life as it comes, Joe, and you keep that smile on your face. You just
that's
keep
all
going.
You can do. It's because I'm delusional, so it's got that going for me.
Absolutely. We want to thank again everybody for tuning in, and
guys, thank you.
We're going to be around. The campaign wraps on Saturday at midnight, so you got until then to jump on board this initial launch. But we're excited. We've got some more surprises in store, more stories, more. Joe's continuing to crank out some warm-up sketches, so stay tuned to the updates for more original art drops and other cool things that we'll have for you. But thank you so much for checking us out, and until then, this has been another ComixTribe live stream with John Lees and Joe Mulvey. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
9 have been slain. At first, we thought it was some wild animal, hunting and devouring our people. But each sighting further confirmed our greatest fear. It has a taste for our blood now. It hunts us. What kind of dwarf would trade a battle axe for a tailor's thread? The Grawlgore I would speak with is the warrior, the adventurer, the monster hunter. And I would speak with him now.
In Grawlgore and Shanks, we blend the epic fantasy of Lord of the Rings with the mystery and clever twists of Knives Out or Sherlock Holmes. This new series follows a dwarf named Von Grawlgore and his grumpy orc companion Grawlgore Shanks as they unravel crimes and confront classist systems in a rich, high fantasy world.
They're not just detectives. They embody the spirit of friendship and teamwork in a land completely ruled by chaos.
I've been friends with artist Joe Mulvey for over a decade, and I'm thrilled to finally be working on a project like this with him.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be working with John Lees on this series. He's my Scottish brother from another mother, and I also can't wait for all of you to be able to check out Grawlgore and Shanks and come along on this adventure with us. Expect action, humor, and heart with the occasional grisly murder.
Grawlgore and Shanks is a double-sized 64-page standard American-sized comic book containing 2 feature-length Grawlgore and Shanks mysteries. This campaign includes a number of covers to choose from, drawn by Joel Mulvey, as well as limited edition variants, including a blank artist edition sketch cover, a gold foil stamped cover, a C.P. Wilson plush-style variant, and an Adam Cahoon wraparound virgin variant, as well as lenticular covers, metal covers, and more. Throughout the campaign, you'll also have a chance to snag some original art by Joe Mulvey and can be drawn into the series in a cameo role. Since 2012, ComixTribe has funded more than 39 successful Kickstarter campaigns, so you can back with confidence when you select one of our amazing rewards because this team always delivers.
Your support on Kickstarter will help us bring Grawlgore Shanks to life by helping us fund a large print run, make cool collectibles, and bring this book into the world.
We really can't wait to take you on this thrilling ride. It's going to be filled with action, fantasy, adventure, and mystery. So don't miss it.
What are you waiting for? Hop on the wagon and back Grawlgore Shanks Book 1 on Kickstarter today. Hi, it's your pal John Lees. Do you like orcs? Look, I rolled a nat 20 persuasion. That means you have to buy it.
Have fun trying to not see the... It's like a laser pointer. Where is it? Where's it going? It looks like I have a monocle. Oh, that's what I should have got for this video, a monocle.
This new series follows a dwarf named Von Grawlgore and his grumpy... I fucked up already. Right, I'll try that again. Right, start off. Take 2.